I would like everyone in this room to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say next. Miss Swopes, will you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Happy to. Ms. Cordova,
Here.
Mr. DeWitt,
Here.
Mr. Merritt,
Here.
Ms. Ortega,
Here.
Mr. Self,
Here.
Ms. Smith is absent, or is she online? She's online. Okay, she's counted as absent. Mr. Watkins
Here.
and Mayor Davidson.
Here.
Excellent.
And Miss Smith just texted and said she is on her way. So welcome to everyone, and Miss Swopes, it's nice to have you back. So
Yes.
welcome back.
Very nice to be there. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask Counselor Merrick to lead us in the invocation, and Counselor Ortega will lead the Pledge of Allegiance and salute to New Mexico flag. You'll stand if you're able.
Please. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all the many blessings that each one of us have. And Lord, just help us to know where those blessings come from. And we thank you for the recent rains that you've sent our way. And we'd be so bold, we'd ask that you send more if it be your will. Lord, just help us make decisions that are keeping the community in mind, and have wisdom in these decisions, and make them to where that affects for the good of the community. Lord, we just thank you especially for the gift of your Son, his willingness to be our Savior, and it's through his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendships among united cultures.
Okay. Ms. Mitchell, do we have any remote attendance? Okay. Our first item is the approval of the minutes of June 16th, 2026. Are there any corrections or objections to the minutes of the June 16th meeting? Okay, hearing none, the minutes of the June 16th meeting are approved as presented by unanimous consent. We will go into public comment. The public may address the council on city business during the public comment period. Speakers must sign in prior to the meeting. Up to 6 speakers per topic will be allowed, with each speaker limited to 3 minutes unless the mayor or a councilor requests clarification. Please state your name for the record before you begin, and your time will start when you do. To comply with the Open Meetings Act, council will not respond or engage in dialogue during public comment and cannot discuss or take action on items not listed on the agenda. Please direct all remarks to the chair. Speakers are asked to follow the meeting procedures so all speakers have the same opportunity to be heard. Speakers may be referred to the appropriate city department for follow-up. Okay, tonight we have Colton Lee Edgel, use of AI art.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Colton. I appreciate you for your time. I am here about the AI generated image chosen to represent our community, and I want to be clear up front about what I'm asking in case I run out of time. I believe that we need to set aside this image and commission our work from a local artist to reinvest in our community and avoid an image that might imply that we are cutting corners here in the city of Portales. I work in a technology field and I use AI regularly. However, not all AI is used to generate image, and all AI work differently from one another. Using an AI to create a logo is something I respectfully oppose. If someone who isn't an artist wants to use a generative tool to sketch a concept, I understand that. My objection today is that the AI generated image should not be the final piece that stands for the city. And this image shows exactly why. I feel like it gets our history wrong. The lighting doesn't portray a realistic lighting source. The mammoth tusk is malformed. The stone has the wrong texture for the Clovis point, and most telling of all, the projectile isn't even a Clovis point. It is a generic Native American point. And in a community as tied to history as ours, that's not a small mistake. It is an identity rendered by something that's never set foot here and doesn't know the difference between a child's identity and a generic identity. That's really the heart of it. What makes a small town worth representing is its community. When the image meant to represent the community comes from a tech company rather than one of its own members, we traded away the very thing that makes our community worth representing. We have a university full of talented art students and a community of others who are artistically inclined. The pride and the money should stay here. An AI-generated promotional material has also developed a very negative reputation, particularly amongst people across the country, especially youth, such as myself, who are increasingly tired of seeing their local social medias filled with mass-produced, low-effort AI-generated imagery, rather than conveying authenticity and creativity. It often signals that the creator was unwilling to invest in the original work and would rather cut corners and appear unprofessional than utilize creativity of a unique individual. It is the goal, if the goal of this rebranding effort is to make Portales more appealing to visitors, prospective residents, and businesses, then we should be presenting our community with artwork that reflects the genuine care and local pride of the community. Choosing AI-generated imagery instead risk undermining that goal by giving the impression that we are unwilling to invest in the very image that we are asking others to believe in. So my ask is simple. Let's give this to our own people, hold a student competition or a competition of some sort for the community, and let residents vote. Let the thing that represents the city actually come from the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Colton. I can engage you. I'll be happy to talk to you about that anytime off of this venue. But I would say Mr. Mitten is the one that designed the logo, so I would refer you to him as the city manager. If you do want to go talk to him, I'm also happy that he would listen to what you have to say, and you would be welcome to talk to him as well. So that's how I would direct you. Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Mhm. Next up, S. Chavez, about Pats.
Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello?
Nice to see you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. I sent you all an email a few days ago. Thank you, Mr. DeWitt, for your thoughtful reply, and Ms. Cordova for your reply as well. I'm here about the Portales PATS program. I am a current resident of Albuquerque, New Mexico. However, I am originally from Dora. So I'm here because multiple people in my family are users of the Portales PATS program. I have had a grandparent, a great-grandparent, several uncles and aunts. I currently have a sibling who rely on this program. And I am asking you all to be against the the suspension of this program. I understand that it requires you to move general use funds into your department to be able to sustain this program. I understand that it is hard to sustain programs that rely on grant funding. However, other programs that do this, such as police departments, fire departments, libraries, rely on public use funds, general capital outlay funds to sustain these programs, and in which case they do so for the livelihood of the people of your town. And I hope that you will continue to support this program by the use of a grant writer or by finding other departments in your town who can co-locate their funds or their purpose or their mission to be able to serve the people of Portales. And as Mr. Merrick mentioned, making the decisions on this council is very hard and tough, but I hope that you all do so for the purpose of collective good, supporting the people who are the most underserved, the most in need in Portales, those of which are veterans, other marginalized communities, such as people of color, people who are disabled, and the elderly, multiple of whom in my family have been direct parishioners of this program because they do not have the personal means themselves. So I'm asking you all, please, to continue to support this program in the best way possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I would also direct you to the city manager if you needed any details filled in. His door is always open. So he could give you some of the inside scoop and things like that. And at any rate,
Perfect.
Thank you.
So much.
I
I appreciate your
appreciate it.
time. Thank you.
next we have a presentation and proclamations. Tonight, we would like to recognize some employee milestones. And I would ask if Tyler Watson could come to the front. Hey, one second. We have Tyler Watson in recognition of 5 years of your faithful service, outstanding performance, and commitment to excellence for the city of Portales Fire Department. So we have this certificate for you and fire service. Really appreciate your service. Advantage of being mayor, you can tell little stories and with the captive audience here, but this Portales Fire Department is recognized for its excellence not only throughout New Mexico but across the entire Southwest. When I lived in Phoenix, a neighboring business had a paramedic fire captain, and he asked where I was from. And when I said Portales, he immediately recognized where I was from in our department because the city of Phoenix had adopted practices that were developed right here in Portales. So, gentlemen, job well done. Chief Tyler, job well done. I would now ask Director McClellan to make a presentation on Animal Control Retention Fund. Do you have a slide?
You know me, I love PowerPoint. You?
There we go. So, good evening, Mayor Council. I'm doing a presentation because later in this, I'm gonna ask for your approval on a resolution to create a animal control officer retention fund. So I'm going over the presentation so the action can go a bit faster. It is, I don't want to say a longer presentation, but it has a lot of slides, so I'm just gonna start. And you guys, it's like auctioneer, just throw your hands up, look for something, and I'll stop for questions. You'll go back to the first page real quick. Thank you, ma'am. So the purpose of this proposal is to establish an animal services retention and compensation fund to address an ongoing recruitment issue that we have in the animal control division, while minimizing impacts to the city's general funds and the taxpayers. So animal control officers do more than babysit dogs and cuddle with kittens all day. They do a unique combination of public safety, code enforcement, animal welfare, such as responding to dangerous animal complaints, investigating animal cruelty, enforcing city ordinances, testifying in court, handling livestock, conducting dangerous dog investigations, managing shelter operations, facilitating adoptions and owner claims, and educating the public regarding responsible pet ownership. Yes, Chris. So the current staffing reality, and I actually have an error on this because I can't do math. Our most senior ACO has actually been here for 2 years. Besides that, all of our other ACOs are under 6 months, and the turnover rate is our most significant operational challenges. The current compensation levels are significantly low market rates for New Mexico. As a result, we experience constant turnover. Exit discussions with these employees consistently identify as compensation as the #1 reason that they are leaving. The city invests substantial resources in recruiting, training, certifying, and equipping animal control personnel. And then unfortunately, many of these employees leave before we see the investment return on that. Ms. Chris? So Portales is not competitive. So currently, a non-certified officer starts at $13.48 per hour. And then when they become certified, they get to $14.56 per hour. Clovis starts them at $17.49 uncertified. So they're uncertain, and they do $14.49 to $26 is their starting range, which blows ours out of the water. Using Indeed statewide national average, we are 37.7% below the market for non-certified and 32% below the market for certified. Ms. Chris? There's just a little fun bar graph because I like visuals. So what this means is that Portales animal control officers are compensated at rates that are actually comparable to entry-level retail or food. And they do so much more, and we would like to see them compensated for that. Ms. Chris, one more. So the cost of turnover is actually pretty high, so we put quite a bit of resources into hiring, background investigations, uniform, equipment certifications, and field training. We also have supervisor oversight because new employees cannot be unsupervised. They have to have a field officer with them at all times. So in senior ACO training time, we spend about $10,608 a year on these employees, and in supervisor and department head training time, we spend $20,186. And this is money that would not be spent on employees that were experienced, who didn't need that person just to be there to have a second on call. This figure does not include overtime, recruitment costs, loss of activity, additional vehicle use, or the delayed response capabilities. Ms. Chris. We have a turnover rate of 900% for animal control. In 2021, a workforce survey for animal services said that an average tenure is 22.6 years. That's how long an animal officer or a kennel tech will usually stay. The city averages 173 days. That means 63% of their time with us is spent in training, and then we only average about 10 weeks of semi-independent work from them. Let's face next one. So why retention matters is experienced officers require less supervision. When we have these non-experienced officers answering calls, a supervisor has to go with them. You are paying 2 salaries for what one experienced employee could do. That does delay our call times and our response times because you have to get 2 people to a call instead of just having to get the 1 person there. When we deal with people and there's an employee who's learning but constantly has to stop what they're doing to ask questions, we lose that confidence in that employee. They recognize they're new, they're not sure if they're saying it correctly. So by having those experienced employees that know what they're talking about and have that confidence, it really improves our enforcement and our case quality, and it improves the confidence that the public has in us. Ms. Chris? So this proposed Animal Services Retention Compensation Fund is funded by non-punitive fees. So Animal Control is one of the only departments that collects non-punitive fees. We do adoption fees, registration fees, breeding permits, livestock permits, multi-animal permits, dangerous dog permits, boarding permits, and reclaiming fees. So this would be put into a fund that would be contributed throughout the entry level positions. The supervisor and the department head, we do not see any of these funds. We're specifically written, so this goes to the field officers. This was. So the long-term plan is to increase the base salary so we're more competitive. In the short term, what this fund is hoping to do is rise the starting pay to $17 an hour for uncertified and $18.46 for certified. Still below everyone around, but it makes us a little more competitive. This is officers would need to make $26,028 a year in those non-punitive funds to do that increase. Currently, we're forecasted to make $13,600. So this doesn't fix all of our problems, but they would see an increase of $1.63 if we continued the way we were going. Still below regional averages, but it's already significantly improved. And that's with doing nothing, just allocating where these funds go. Ms. Chris? It's very important. This program does not incentivize enforcement actions. Punitive fines and citations do not fund this. Officers have zero financial motivation to cite aggressively. They are just as incentivized to work with property owners at no fee, and that's why those citations are not included in here. This ensures continued collaborations with property owners and pet owners, not punitive behavior. We also didn't include daily care fees because that is what the city is reimbursed for its care. Citations, rabies deposits, and spay deposits, we do return those. Reclaiming fees, the reclaiming fee is fine, the rabies fine in your reclaiming fee is not included. And anything that goes to animal costs. We also don't accept surrender fees. They are allowable by law, but we don't want to make it look like we're incentivizing people to surrender their animals. So those types of things were purposely left out. Ms. Chris? So the benefits of the fund, we improve retention and recruitment. We reduce training and turnover costs. We encourage certification and professional development. Most of my employees leave before we can really get them those professional certifications. And this actually increases adoptions, reclaiming, and public safety outcomes because every time you adopt, that money goes into that fund. If the dog is euthanized for space, no money's made. By no means do we want to see that, but that is, you see those incentives are in the right spot to do the correct things. Ms. Chris? So the conclusions are employees are not leaving because they dislike work. They're not leaving because of their supervisors. They're not leaving because they don't care about the animals. They're leaving because they can't afford to work for the city of Portales at these rates. Every time one leaves, the city loses training, certifications, experience, and taxpayer investment. This proposal gives us an opportunity to keep good people, build a stronger program, and improve public safety without facing the burden on the taxpayers. The cost of turnover is real. The cost of retention is an investment for the city. And I have a whole binder with so many notes. So if you have any questions, I probably have your answer. But I know
Well-
questions.
Ms. McClellan, I'm particularly fond of your new word, contributed. Blending that contributed and distributed in one word. I hope you don't mind if I start using that as well.
You remember either word, so I'm happy at least you knew what I was talking about.
Is there a process to where citizens can donate to the adoption fee to where a qualified recipients could adopt for free?
Yes, so people can sponsor animals. If
Okay.
there's an animal, you can call and say, I'm gonna sponsor that, meaning I will pay all of its adoption fees, so a qualified home can come adopt it and its fee will be covered.
I thought I saw one of the adoption agencies doing something like that. I wanted to
Yes.
clarify that. And the last comment I'm going to make is animal control has got to be one of the hardest jobs in this city, period. Just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so blessings to everybody that serves in that aspect. Any other questions or comments? Good. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are going to move to a presentation by XL Energy, Patrick Lucero.
Good evening, Mayor. Also, I don't have a slideshow or
Okay.
anything tonight, but I just wanted to come before the council and kind of let you know about all the work that XL has going on. I'm sure you guys have noticed the contractor in the area of Alaska. There's some of our contractors that have been working in the area for the last, I think, month and a half. Some of the work they're doing is they're working on conversions they're switching over from 4 kV to 12.4 kV. That was in the area of 18th Street, Avenue I West. But there's a lot more work they're doing also. They're working on asset health, and our asset health is based off of a drone in a box. And what that drone does is they send it up in the air and it's programmed to follow these poles. And whenever it gets to its location, the drone will take pictures of all sides of all the structure. And it has infrared as well. So if it sees anything, once that drone is back in the box, it'll upload data, send it to one of our centers. And then it kicks out a work order to start that work if they find something wrong with that. So that's a lot of the work that's being done with Alaska in there, some of the asset health. And then moving on to the substation work. So there was a substation right there by Taco Box. We had a crew working there. They had a mobile set. They were changing some high side fuses. They were changing it to a more reliable fuse, one that's easier to find, easier to replace, stuff that we have in stock with XL. So if we ever have an outage on those fuses caused by the fuses, we'll have that stock to be able to replace it right away. So we do keep those on hand. A lot of questions I get whenever people see the mobiles rolling in town, they're always like, are we going to see an outage? Well, most times if we have a mobile set, you shouldn't see an outage if we're hooking that up. It should be a blinkless transition, so you won't see that. So more work that we have coming is we have XL crews coming from Dumas and Pampa. Next week, they're going to rotate 1 week on, 1 week off, but they're working on hardening the systems. They're working on wildfire stuff. So wildfire, asset health, conversions, all that work has been taking place in Portales, and it will be for quite a while. We have about 26 conversion jobs that they're going to be working on. So conversion is not, it's part of a circuit. It's not the whole feeder, but it's part of a circuit. So they break that down in 26 different jobs. But there will be some outages on that, but all those outages, they will have outbound calls to the customers and give them an advance notice, and I'm thinking it's about 4 or 5 days notice on that, so. But I just wanted to kind of let you know all the stuff that we have going on in town, so. Any questions of anything?
Are there any questions from council?
I have one.
Okay.
Mr. Lucero, I had a constituent ask, why are the poles going on the front portion of the road instead of back in the alleys?
What area are they?
North Avenue N?
North Avenue N. Let me write that down and I will find out why they're going in front, not in alley. A lot of times well, I was gonna say it has to do with easements, but I'm not sure. But let me write that down. I'll get back to you on that one. So North Avenue N.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you need a correct address, you can just text me and I can send that to you.
No, I'll find that out. I'll let you guys know. So. Anything else?
Any other questions? Okay.
No, well, we appreciate your all's patience with us and, this is gonna help out in the future. So hopefully whenever we get the cold seasons again, we can see the blinking lights, or the hot summer days, we won't see the blinking lights. So it should help the system out in your house quite a bit.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Going to move to action items. Action item 1, governing body's approval of the mayor's appointment to represent Ward D as a city councilor. I'm nominating Michael Woolley to represent Ward D as city councilor until the 2028 municipal election, when voters will fill the remainder of the term. Mr. Woolley is a lifelong Portales resident, a retired 36-year military veteran, has served on the city's Public Works Committee, and brings extensive leadership, budgeting, and public service experience to this appointment. So the chair would entertain a motion to approve the mayor's appointment to the Ward D city council position.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Counselor Self. Second made by Counselor Watkins to approve the mayor's appointment of Michael Woolley to the Ward D city council position. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say that I read through his resume and his letter of interest, and it was the experience that you're going to bring to the council is we're really excited to see that. And then the committee that you served on, I had some members of that committee come to me and say that you were a really good candidate and that they hope that you were chosen. So appreciate you sending your letter of interest.
And also we would appreciate everyone that did
Yes.
send a letter of interest. Absolutely. And are there any more discussion? Okay. So Ms. Whoops, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Cordova,
Yes.
Mr. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Merrick,
Yes.
Ms. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Self,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay.
He's approved.
Mr. Woolley, would you come forward, please? And Ms. Whoops will administer the oath of office.
Administered just the oath of office. There are 3 documents that you will need to sign. So yes. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Michael Woolley,
I'm Michael Scott Woolley,
having been appointed to the office
having been appointed to the office
of Ward D Counselor
of Ward D Counselor
in the city of
in the
Portales,
city of Portales,
state of New
state
Mexico,
of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United
of the
States,
United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico,
Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico,
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
that's a long sentence right there.
I will make it easier. And faithfully and impartially discharge
Faithfully, impartially discharge
the duties of said office
the duties of said office
to the best of my
to the
ability.
best of my ability.
Okay. Very good. You are sworn in. Congratulations. And Mr. Woolley? Take your spot, please. And when you're done, when this is over, please come by my position at the table and I'll have you sign the documents.
Ursula, I got your part.
Okay, congratulations, Mike. Welcome to the city council. We look forward to serving with you. And we will proceed with the remainder of the agenda. We now have some consent agenda items to be presented by Director Kelly McClellan, Community Services Director. Would be the approval of resolution number 2026-25, a resolution authorizing temporary adjustments to animal adoption and reclaiming fees for a period of 1 year or until publication of the revised animal control ordinance. Item 2, ratification of the mayor's signature on a grant providing $10,000 for custom-built cat kennels, $10,000 for the medical fund for shelter animals, and $30,000 to assist with adoption and reclaiming fees. Ms. McClellan, the floor is yours.
Clarification, consent items are usually accepted in one
Mm.
rod, and if you pull them off, then I do them as an action item.
Yep.
Are we pulling them off as an action item?
I make a motion to approve the 2 items as presented.
But my apologies. I skipped my little disclaimer. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any counselor may request that an item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. So if anybody wants to remove either one of those items I read, sorry for playing catch up, but okay. Okay. Are there any questions from council on either of these? The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I
Make
make
a
a
motion.
second.
Was that you, Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. Have a motion by Counselor DeWitt, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Cordova to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Ms. Whoops, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Cordova,
Yes.
Mr. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Merrick,
Yes.
Ms. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Woolley,
Yes.
Mr. Sell,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
and Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
It's unanimous. It passes.
Okay. Next action item, approval of resolution number 2026-26, a resolution establishing the City of Portales Animal Control Retention Fund and providing for the collection, use, and administration of the fund. You're back. Ms. McClellan.
This is me seeking your official approval for the animal retention fund per resolution. This is the basis on what the presentation was, so I still stand for any questions you may have on the presentations or for any for clarification.
Any questions from council? Chair will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2026-26.
Move to adopt resolution 2026-26.
Second.
Okay, motion by Counselor Smith, second by Counselor Ortega to approve resolution number 2026-26, establishing the City of Portales Animal Control Retention Fund and providing for the collection, use, and administration of the fund. Is there any further discussion on this? Ms. Wopes, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Cordova,
Yes.
Mr. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt,
Yes.
Ms. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Woolley,
Yes.
Mr. South,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
It's unanimous, it passes.
City manager action item 1, Portales Area Transit, which also known as PATS, approval of temporary suspension of the program. Mr. Mitten.
Grab some papers. I think I'll be up there from once I start this, you bring up the slide bit. Mayor, council. Thank you for hearing the things I have to say this evening. You know, a couple action items at my level to present to you. One, as you mentioned, is PATS. Mr. Mayor, it's not an easy thing to discuss, not an easy thing to talk about. But here's the reality. Portales Area Transit System, in and around within 5 miles or outside of 5 miles of the city of Portales. The ridership has continually declined over time, starting based on my analysis around COVID timeframe, and has declined since to the point where it's about $20 or more per ride that it costs the city to provide a rider one way on the Portales Area Transit System. We operated heavily with grants under the 5311 grant program. And based on numbers, ridership, that grant was reduced into a different type of grant, similar but different, much smaller, where most of our funding for this program was denied, taken away based on ridership and declining ridership. Furthermore, I can't make people sign up to want to be PATS drivers. I've run advertisement after advertisement. And when I say me, I'm talking about the city. And people don't respond to those adverts. People at this point don't want to drive for PATS. No, nobody has applied. I have one PATS employee. That one PATS employee, for all intents and purposes, would be responsible for bank runs, driving, maintenance, records, and so on, everything. At this point, it's untenable to have one person as a driver manage, run, and execute all facets of the PATS program. This is not a resolution. This is an ask for approval to temporarily suspend the PATS operations until we can fully review the PATS program, re-engage the grantors, explain the requirement, and explain the total cost of running the PATS system. Now, that's not a homegrown ask. That's also from the New Mexico Department of Transportation, the Federal Department of Transportation, who was here a couple of weeks ago reviewing the PATS system based on lack of ridership, based on lack of participants. Within a day, they were supposed to be here for 3 days. Within a day, the reviewing team, the assistance team, if you will, within an hour said this program is critical. You're at risk. We knew we were at risk. We knew we had brought this up to council before as basically a heads up that this is coming. The people of the city, I would argue, are not exactly protected very well by the PATS operation. The city itself is not exactly protected very well by the operation. When you ask to do a moving vehicle type of operation and you have one person doing it, I would argue that the increase or the risk with that operation goes up exponentially. There's no days available for training. If training days take place, the program comes to a standstill. There's no days for sick days. If there's a sick day, the program comes to a standstill. It comes to a standstill when that one employee can't be there. Everything in that program relies on that one employee seeing everything in front of them, behind them, to the left of them, to the right of them, etc. Some days they can't take the deposits and make it to the bank, which violates a rule, a law. When you receive cash, you have to deposit the cash, I believe, within 1 day. And so on. There's many violations like this in the PAT system that to make one thing happen, another thing has to give. You cannot operate an organization or an operation like that safely. You can't operate it efficiently, and you can't meet the rules, regulations, or requirements for a program like that. So this ask is not to terminate the PATS program. This ask is to suspend the operations of the PATS program so that one employee who will stay employed for the time being will catch up on all the administrative portions of the PATS program to get the PATS vehicles that we have purchased or leased through the federal and state programs, to get those into maintenance, to have a full review done on these vehicles by our onboard mechanic, and then to look back at the DOT, both at the state and the federal level, and declare that our side of it, at least to there, is ready for a consideration of operation, but also to re-engage with the New Mexico DOT and the federal DOT to start a planning program, which they've offered, to fully assess the program, what it takes via manpower and what it takes via funding, and the full requirement. And if PATS is actually an effective program for the city, that 5-mile limit that's put on us doesn't do us a whole lot of good. Can't go to Clovis under that. You can't go to Cannon under that, et cetera. And not only does the Department of Transportation understand that, but the New Mexico Department of Transportation understands that. And they are objectively taking a look at working with us and outlying communities to develop a Roosevelt County area transit system that will allow the same services to a wider area to service more people and to allow our folks to get out of town to go to other doctors, other stores and things like that. But right now it's untenable with PATS. It's untenable with one employee. And I would argue to a certain extent on different facets that the city and our residents are at some risk when you have a program with one person who their rest plan, their education plan or training plan, and it's not there to support it efficiently. I don't think we would do this with any kind of other transportation. And I don't think it's tenable in this PATS program. So it's not a resolution. The ask by council is to suspend this until we can follow the guidance of New Mexico DOT and the DOT to follow their planning and their grants that they are willing to work with us on to make sure that we start the program anew with the right stuff in the right place and the right amount of funding to make sure that nobody or no programs are at risk. That's the ask.
Are there any questions from council regarding this?
I have some.
Go for it.
Mr. Minton, what is the time frame for the suspension?
The time frame is really fluid. It's until we get the right information and we can get the right funding to put the right amounts of people and to provide a say revenue stream that's funded largely by grants, some by the city because we have a required match, but to perhaps offer enough funding that it makes it enticing for people to be employed by PATS to drive. I cannot make someone drive a PATS vehicle. I can't make them apply. They're just not applying.
And then have we talked to La Casa to see if they're able to pick up some of the riders through their Los Abuelitos program?
Only the surface level research. I didn't go directly to them and say, can you do this?
Okay.
But there are two other municipal, if you will, transportation services in town that do cover many of the services that PATS does.
Okay, and then my last one was what happens to the employee? The employee will stay to try to get the.
Well, there's a lot of backside work to do on that. So the vehicles that we have on hand, those need to be tracked and maintained, put into maintenance, track that maintenance, write the reports on them. Then we have a lot of data that we have to feed back because we did take that grant money So we have a lot of work to do on the backside administratively. So that employee has a lot of work to do.
Okay.
And those are the same types of labor hours that aren't being done now.
Thank you.
Counselor Woolley, did you have a question?
No, it's about Picasso.
Okay, okay.
I have something, Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Yes.
When the PATS bus service was first introduced to Portales, it was created as a public service, not a revenue generating department. If we are going to evaluate the PATS bus solely based on a financial return, then we should apply the same standard to all service departments. For example, how much revenue does code enforcement generate for the city? That's a discussion we can have at a later date. But it's important to recognize that not every essential city service is intended to produce a profit. The PATS bus provides a vital service to a significant portion for our community. It gives the residents reliable transportation to and from work, medical appointments, grocery stores, pharmacies, and other essential destinations. Many of the people who depend on this service are senior citizens, individuals with disabilities who qualify under the ADA, and our veterans. Without this transportation option, many of these residents will have very few, if no other alternatives. In some cases, they may end up relying on 911 emergency services simply to get to necessary medical appointments because they have no other means of transportation. That outcome would ultimately cost the city more by placing unnecessary strain on our emergency response system, tying up our EMTs, ambulances, and emergency room resources that should remain available for true life-threatening emergencies. Public transportation is an investment in our community's health, independence, and quality of life. Its value cannot be measured solely by the revenue it generates, but by the essential service it provides to the residents who need it the most. So I am voting no for this.
Counselor, I appreciate your comments. I don't think a vote is on the floor yet, but I certainly do appreciate your comments. But I think we missed the concept where I said, I can't make people drive PATS. Someone has to apply to do that. I have one person right now. I won't go into sordid details about the things that are missing administratively, but
I understand that. I myself have never seen the advertisements for the job. And, I understand that, we're just asked for a higher pay for animal control. And maybe that's why no one's applying for it, because of the pay. So why are we going to give one department a better pay and not this department a better pay?
I think that question could be asked across lots of departments, but I understand your sentiment for sure. But even then, I can't get people to apply. If they apply, they certainly would be considered and hired on board. It's not strictly financial right now. Right now, we're operating on a budget that covers PATS. There is PATS money. So it's not a matter of, oh, we're losing, X amount of money and have to bridge a gap right here. It's also a matter of people not applying. And then there's a matter of training. So if there's a substantial amount of training that goes along with PATS to include commercial driver's license, et cetera, which is very enticing to other employers as well. So right now, it is almost while it's a very, very valid and important type of service, it's like I used the word untenable earlier. So I understand, and we're all entitled to vote the way we see fit, right? And we execute what the governing body decides to do. But when there's no one there to drive, the PATS system can't drive.
All right, yes, go ahead, Mr. Lawrence.
In the meantime, can we get a hold of the other places that could step in to help citizens that need that?
Of course, we could certainly ask, and we could certainly broadcast, if you will, what their services, but service limitations are as well. Yeah, there are multiple. There's more than just PATS in the city, right?
Mr. DeWitt, Counselor DeWitt.
I totally agree with the counselor here on everything she said about the need for it.
That's okay.
Yeah. For the need for it. And this is kind of where there's definitely a need. There's 100 people a week, thereabouts that need this service.
Oh, 50, 100 rides, but yeah.
Okay. Be that as it may, but you said maintenance issues, we're behind on maintenance issues?
Maintenance is part of it.
Okay.
If someone is driving, they can't be maintained.
No, I totally agree. As a former driver, I know that's first and foremost on the road. We've got to be safe to the public, not just the ones that are in the vehicles, but the ones that are on the streets. And so I understand that. Are we looking at possibly putting a work group or something together to help drill down on this and see
I
what
would
we can
argue
do about
that-
putting it back
I mean, the
together?
short answer is yes. I would argue
Okay.
that's already taken place.
Okay,
So we had an external evaluation team from both federal and state come in 3 weeks ago.
okay,
Spend a week here reviewing everything about PATS. Yeah.
okay.
Their formal review is still not published to us yet, but the feedback and the takeaway was, and their recommendation was that they offer planning services that starts where at the ground up, determining the actual need and the requirement and what it costs to do these types of things. They clearly understand that when they talk to me and others, was that it's PATS, as we know it in Portales, is at a very critical, high risk state right now, and it definitely needs help. Or when they went from a 50, I think it's a 5311 grant to a 5310 grant. That was barely enough money at all to put the gas and the basic roadworthiness of the vehicles in there. We were severely hampered by that.
Will we be able to, after they get done with their review and everything, do a local study? I mean, we're gonna, if it come to the unfortunate event that we would have to just totally do away with this program, we need to have an answer for the city that we've done, us and you guys have done everything we can to find the right answer.
Not to shift the topic, see, PATS is Portales Area Transit System.
Correct.
What I will
RAT
tell you is.
sounds terrible.
Well, RSDAT, yeah, RAT would be.
Okay.
But, the New Mexico deal is seriously considering broadening the program, bringing in multiple, towns, Elida, Dora, Texaco, et cetera, and broadening the distance and the scope of the program, and also offering it up to more people by doing that, and possibly even more funding because it's a wider area. So that's part of that working group concept that you asked about, which I would argue is already taking place. So we're in dialogue, but the timeframe, it's not short. It's not a 1 week or 2 week thing. It's at least 6 months, possibly more.
Counselor.
I'm the new kid on the block, but I'm not a new kid about Roosevelt County. When you say veterans, first of all, veterans goes get prescriptions. They're going to Cannon Air Force Base. They can't get there. 5 miles is the limit. If you go to a women's clinic, the women's clinic's in Clovis. Our PATS bus cannot get there because they're limited to 5 miles. You know, if they go see Dr. Garcia, they can't go see her because it's more than 5 miles. If we're looking at Roosevelt County, that's a no-brainer. Being able to incorporate this, give it the same high quality standard, make it bigger and better. So that's what I have to say about it. But I'm just the new kid on the block. So
You look new.
Counselor Murray.
Is there a fee associated with the ride?
Yes.
Okay. How often is it actually paid?
There's a couple different ways to do it. I would argue that the fee is generally paid all the time, but if you buy a 10 ticket ride, it's $7 for 10 rides. So it's 70 cents per ride. And it costs about $27 to affect that one ride.
Yep.
Are there any other questions? So I would make a couple of comments. So I want to confirm there are multiple transit systems in Portales currently. What I notice is that we have 5 PATS vehicles. So the city is geared towards a substantial program, but we have 5 PATS vehicles. We only have 1 driver. So I get the problem. I mean, we can talk about this all day long, but if we have no one that can participate or will participate in the program, it's just talk. I do think that one of the things that is going to make that substantial is by being able down the road to offer more money to these drivers and attract those drivers. But we need time to put that program together. This program is not, it's not a quality program. It's a quality cause. It's an awesome cause that's probably needed, but we do not have a quality program. So I'm happy to see that it's not being permanently terminated, but we definitely need to make this a program that we can be proud of and that can sustain itself and that we can give good service and possibly expand that range to be. I know the Air Force Base needs that service. We need to be able to take airmen home and give them rides and things like that. So at any rate, are there any other questions?
I have one more,
Yes.
maybe two.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay.
Mr. Minton, is there any funding that we have currently received that we're gonna be liable for? Should we suspend?
For suspending the operation, no. For canceling it and whatnot, there'll be not really clawback, but there's provisions for doing that. I have a list that I don't recall right off the top of my head what they are, but even on suspending it, we have about 9 data points we have to answer to include like what's our plan on moving forward, seeking the 5311 grant type of things, planning grants, et cetera, at the New Mexico DOT level and so on to get back to right. And that's really an intent. The intent is not to kill anything, right? So if anybody walks away with bad sentiment, it's not about killing a program. It's about making a program that's administratively safe, legally safe, and physically safe. We would be in a very poor standing if somebody got hurt on PATS and someone asked, when was the last time the PATS driver had a day off? Or when was the last time the PATS driver, the one, went on vacation, or so on and so on. Or when was the last time, all of those types of things. One person on a moving vehicle type of thing is, I would argue, a risky endeavor. So those are the types of things we're looking at. So do we have to give money back? Like, and is there some coffers that will, no, not exactly. We have to maintain the vehicles that we have, the 5 that the mayor talked about. Those need to be brought up to what I would argue are 1020 standards, meaning serviceable equipment. We have to show records for all of that. We have to show our deposits. We have to show our deposits are done in a timely manner. I would argue that sometimes they're not, because the driver doesn't have time to drive and deposit, catch the bank on time. So there's lots of little things like that that put us at risk of administrative risk and so on. And we have to fix those. We have to have a programmatic approach to managing this system so that we don't put the city and other people at risk.
And I received a lot of emails on this one too, so this one's a tough one for me because it is a service that, serves, people that, well, just people in general. So this one is tough for me, but I have one more question. Now I lost it. Okay.
We can wait for
Move
you.
on and then I'll think with it.
While you're thinking about that, I want to just add this on. The fact that we bring it up, the fact that we put it before council on record is important, because no matter what happens, if you vote yes, keep it, we're going to keep it, and we're going to do the best we can with what we have. If you vote no and we postpone it and we make it better, then we'll do that. But just hiding it in the darkness and not doing anything, that puts us at the greatest risk. So the fact that we bring it up for consideration, whether you vote yes or no, you're voting the right vote. You vote with what you think. And we follow, as the administrators and the executors of the decision of the council, we follow what you choose to do. And we do it with a smile on our face. I don't smile very much at all, but we do it with a smile on our face and we go make that happen. But we have to bring it up. We can't keep these kind of things in the light. We have to share the information with everybody so that we all know collectively where we stand, so that we can address these types of things one way or another. You're not hurting any feelings from the staff, whatever direction you go. The staff makes the best informed decision that we can based on analysis. We bring it to you, you make the decisions, and we execute. And that's the way it goes.
Okay, now I remembered.
Okay.
So thank you for that. So have we looked at like maybe scaling it down to say, hey, you're going to drive 2 days, 3 days, and then the other 3 days you're going to do admin stuff?
Haven't looked at that, but I haven't ruled it out either. I mean, that's an
Okay.
option, but I haven't put anything on any kind of paper in that regard, other than bringing this up first. The most important thing is to bring this up, that we have a problem, and let's get after the problem.
Okay, thank
But in
you.
either case, I'm just gonna add one piece. Thank you. You got to go a couple times on it.
Yes.
So suspending Pat. So if you suspend 1 minute of Pat's, that is still a suspension of some kind. Okay, so just
Yes.
keep that.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Councilor Ortega.
If we sadly vote to suspend the Pats bus today, how are we going to make sure that we talk about it again, that we get it back on the agenda to bring it back to the table, start it back up again and
Yeah,
get
it's a
it going?
great question. I got the essence of it. So keep in mind, it's not just suspend and forget, it's suspend the driving portion of the operation, right? But like I said, we still have a maintenance plan, we still have a training plan, we're still looking for drivers to drive, we're still looking for a manager to manage those types of things. And then we are working actively with DOT, both on state and federal sides, to make the truck, this has been narrowed down to such a skinny skeleton of a program, and we've got to put meat on those bones. And that's the best way I can put it right now. That report will come out soon, and it'll tell the tale of the tape and all the objectives that we need to achieve to make this right. So this is ongoing every day. We're not necessarily completely involved in it right now. I mean, we are to a certain bit. We also have the DOTs working on it. So it doesn't just go away and fade away. So we're in dialogue at least weekly with the team that came to visit, and they will help us identify those gaps and then fill those gaps. So how we make sure it doesn't go away is we'll keep it on the monthly report, quarterly report, or something like that. But it's not.
Every counselor has the right to bring an item to the mayor to bring
Yeah, sure.
to council.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I work on that I'm not bringing up every week, you know, and so Pat's is one of them. I'm not making light of what you're saying. It's just I get plenty of Pat's emails about from the DOTs on this. And the grant, I know Miss McVeigh is here, is she? Oh, there you go. So Miss McVeigh gets plenty of stuff, and Liliana Rivera, finance director, gets plenty of stuff on the 5310, 5311 grants and things like that. So it's almost kind of gone.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Merritt.
So kind of going back to my other question, are these rates set by a state, or do we set the rates on what we're?
You know what, I wasn't prepared for that question. I don't know. I know $10 ticket gets you, $7 ticket gets you 10.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it's not tenable that way, you know, maybe we should look at going up on the rates and getting
Yeah.
more.
That's a fair comment, right? But it's almost like a self-licking ice cream cone. We have barely any utilization at all, comparative. Look at us, and the grantors are granting us money. They look at us as being as dismal, not dismal people, dismal ridership. So then we raise the rates, right? 70 cents a ride, and we already have 50 rides a week. So we raise it to $5 or $2 or whatever. And that does it drive it up or drive it down? I would argue maybe drives it down. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
Well,
this one seems, that's one of the ones that seems okay on paper, but then it's just.
where else are you going to be able to get a ride for that kind of fee?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Midden, going back kind of to what Councilor Cordova was talking about, there's clearly a difference between a suspension and a clawback. So I'm thinking, does suspending, just for the record, does suspending a program compared to just shutting it down, does suspending a program, can that affect our ability to look good on paper for applying for grants in the future? It shouldn't have any effect. I would think it would be looked at wise. I mean, that you're trying to handle your
Actually,
finances
If
wisely.
you're
but-
talking about grants, all kinds of grants, I would say absolutely not.
Okay.
If you're talking about grants that would support the PADS program or a program like that, Roosevelt County type of thing, I would argue that suspending it, going back and figuring out all your gaps, covering them, coming up with actual cost of doing business would enhance your ability to get grants. I would say that your grants would be bigger and more robust at that time, because it truly reflects not the legacy PADS program of the days before COVID, but the actual cost of doing business, the requirement. And like to Councilor Woolley's point, people have to go farther than 5 miles. outside of town, it's sort of outside of, okay. The way, you know, just the unique geography of our city, you have to go to other places to get some goods and services that we don't offer here. That's just the way it goes. So I would argue that there has to be more thrown at these programs to make them efficient.
There's no question. I mean, if we lose one employee, this program is suspended, regardless of what we want to do. I mean, that is,
Every sick day,
yes.
employee takes.
yes.
programs.
So it definitely, this program needs work,
That's right.
one way or another. Any other? Yes.
Yeah, I've been battling with this since you brought it up a couple weeks ago. We do need a program for people that just can't get around. We do. I mean, that goes without saying. I don't think there's a heartless creature in this room. I actually was leaning more on the side of voting against the suspension until you brought up a couple of things. First
Put
and
this on
foremost,
me.
I'm sorry.
You put that on my shoulders, okay?
First and foremost, the maintenance. The maintenance. As a former driver, we set ourselves up for liability hugely. Second is going to be wearing out our one and only employee. And it's unfathomable to think that we have a program like this that only has one employee. So that, you know, that shifts the dynamic quite a bit. And I just, you know, we got to get something figured out, but you know, as it stands, I don't see how we can, you know, I run a business by myself, as you know, and I was spraying weeds this morning before I started working on motors. And it was, you know, it's overwhelming, all the things that you got to do. And if she's doing all of these things by herself, we're not being very efficient, and we're not being very fair to hers, not knowing what her pay is or anything like that. But it's still, I mean, I'm sure she goes home wore out. That being said, I would move to suspend the program.
Well, Counselor DeWitt, you made my job a little easier. The chair will entertain a motion regarding the temporary suspension of the PATS program. A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Counselor DeWitt, second by Counselor Watkins to approve the temporary suspension of the PATS program. Is there any further discussion? I'm going to ask, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Cordova,
No.
Mr. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Merrick,
Yes.
Ms. Ortega,
No.
Mr. Woolley,
Yes.
Mr. Self,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
and Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
There are 2 against, and that makes 6 in favor. So there's majority to suspend.
Okay, City Manager, action item 2, approval of resolution number 2026-27, amending resolution 2026-18 to authorize 2025 water rates for City of Portales businesses that use water as their core service or product. Mr. Minton.
Okay, this one was kind of hard to narrow down, right, to bracket in. So when the water rates were voted in 2023 and kind of screened and worked through in 2022, voted in 2023, they were basically broken down into 3 types of organizations. Residential, with the average utilization rate of 6,000 gallons per household. Commercial, not a lot of descriptors in there, and then industrial, and that was it. So as we move forward and we, you know, there was a couple of gap years and whatnot, and then these rates come into effect, then we identify another demographic, if you will, business demographic, and that was businesses that use a lot of water as their core product. The water is almost their product. For example, a laundromat. A pay-as-you-go car wash, those types of things. Those weren't really considered. So a laundromat, by its nature, saves water. If you use commercial level laundromat machines to put in a lot of laundry, that actually saves water over like my household type of thing, believe it or not. But because everybody's going there, lots of people are going there, they use more than the average household of 6,000 gallons. So they're conserving water, believe it or not, but they're using more than 6,000 gallons because a lot of people are going through there. Consequently, when the litmus is put them on, the restricting factor is put on there, it's the average of 6,000 gallons per month. They use much more than that, but their bill at kind of the residential or commercial rate, which goes up exponentially, which that exponential rate increase was designed to prohibit people from wasting water. In actuality, they're conserving water, but they're getting charged at a punitive rate, more or less. So this amendment, if you will, but this resolution is designed to take into consideration those businesses in the city of Portales who need water as their core product, laundromats, car washes. No nurseries have come to me, but if a nursery came and needed water for plants and things like that, that for the time being, just like we did with the school district, just like you did with the university, and just like you did with the water co-op, that we freeze the rates. We use the pre-existing rates from May and forward. You still bill at those rates until the third party who's doing this right now does complete rate review study, and we offer to them a fourth demographic, that is these water intensive businesses, that's accounted for in the future. So they are fairly billed as opposed to holding a laundromat to the accountable standard of a residential input of 6,000 gallons per month, which just isn't fair. So what you're doing with this resolution, I'm asking you to vote yes on it, so that our laundromat businesses, our nurseries, our car washes, et cetera, are not held to the standard of a household, when in fact they could never be held to that. They're conserving water by doing what they're doing, as opposed to all of us out there with hoses washing our cars and things like that. They're actually conserving water, but we're kind of getting penalized for using more water than the household. So I'm asking you to approve this resolution that allows us to bill them at the previously existing rate until the third party organization can come to you with what they see as a full cost of providing that service to those folks, and the rates are correctly adjusted. So we do questions.
Any questions from council?
I do.
Counselor Merritt.
So what's the typical usage of a laundromat?
Well, that would depend on the number of machines, how many people go in.
Okay. So they're subject to the tiered rates, just like a residential, or is it?
They are.
Okay. So it's got to go over a certain amount before they start going up to the next level. They're
Yes.
billed at that rate until they go to the next level. And currently, if we go back to the rates that you're talking about, are they not tiered at that also, or are they just paying a certain amount per 1,000 gallons, just like it is?
They would be in the 2023 rate, which was tiered, but they had adjusted their cost of doing business to that rate, and that worked for them. Now, here's the weird side of this. If we bump them to the industrial rate, which is lots, right,
Yeah.
of Western Dairy, that actually is prohibitive they're in a weird, the way it's set up right now, they're in a weird, industrial would go one way, but commercial is held to the 6,000 gallon standard. And so it's just kind of a niche that found between that wasn't considered at the time. So all the businesses that have approached the city that fall into this category, laundromats and car washes, had adjusted their rates and their cost of doing business to 2023 rates. And they're doing okay there. But if we push them to the new rate, that goes up substantially when they go to these thresholds, then it becomes cost prohibitive, and most of them will probably go out of business if they're held to that rate.
I would add to that restaurants also fall into that category. I've had several restaurants reach out about the same thing.
Yeah, then if you look at the resolution, not that you haven't, but if you look at the proposal, it offers subjectivity on the part of the city to be able to adjust for that.
And we, if a restaurant goes up, we all know what happens then. Is, we all pay for it in the increased food prices. That happens in all of them. I shouldn't say just the restaurant, but, any other questions?
Just clarification on would pot shops be the water or marijuana plants, would that be considered a nursery or?
I think that if somebody has a growing operation, which I'm not terribly familiar with cannabis growing operations. I think that it would be very easy to make the leap that that's a nursery of some kind and that's water dependent. And, taking my emotional state of whether I like weed or don't like weed out of it, if they're growing plants and it's water dependent, et cetera, it'd probably fall in the nursery category.
Thank you. Just want clarification.
Any other questions? Chair will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2026-27.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Counselor Watkins, a second by Counselor Self to approve resolution number 2026-27, amending resolution number 2026-18 to authorize 2025 water rates for the city of Portales businesses that use water as their core service or product. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Whoops, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Cordova,
Yes.
Mr. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt,
Yes.
Ms. Ortega.
Yes.
Mr. Woolley,
Yes.
Mr. South,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
It's unanimous, it passes.
Okay, we will now move to city manager report.
I mean, I've been up here long enough. You can look at the slides. I'm gonna write read what I have here. So I'm pleased to report we're doing okay. Not a bunch of serious problems, not a bunch of serious infrastructure failures. We're working on the projects that most everybody knows about. We continue making steady progress towards implementation and production level and distribution level water metering. So Public Works Department and Finance is they're deeply nested in getting production level meters and distribution level meters. What that means in layman terms is we are moving on purchasing the meters for the well fields and meters for the 5,600 connections within the city. Water rates and adjustments to water rates have indicated several kind of friction points, which to date, we have not identified any missed billings or unaccounted for water, but there are several people who are coming to us, which is a forcing function that makes us and the residents look very diligently at their water and water delivery and so on. As such, part of the distribution, although we haven't been found, if you will, on any wrongdoings within the city, none of our meters have been identified so far as being broken or whatnot. We have been able to account for all the water distributed down to the 1,000-gallon level. It would be a little bit closer, but we bill in increments of 1,000 gallons. But so far, we've been 100% on our assessments on there. That's not bragging. That's just saying that we're accounting for the water that's there. Moving forward with these enhanced meters across the board, will be down to a much more finite level, and the city will account for all the water, if you will. Now, that being a forcing function across the board, we're also identifying lots of leaks in different places, many times on the residential side of the meter. And so it's very unfortunate, but some people do have leaks and they've had them for a very long time. And so now by doing this and looking at the bills that are going up, we're able to identify them, the property owner identifies them. Because remember, sometimes leaks in water don't go up, they go down, or they go sideways. But so in the spirit of water conservation, it's working. The new 2027 budget, as you know, because you voted on it, is in effect now. City's on track financially, and the budget is 100% accounted for. There's no issues there. The spend plans are working very well. Personnel functions are working well. We're about as good as we can be. We usually carry a handful of openings, but that's the nature of the beast. When you have 175 employee positions, you always have a handful that are in in transition and we're no different. City and our city support mechanisms, the chamber and others doing a very good job. A lot of you went to the Gus Macker and saw that get pulled off. That wasn't the city, but it was city involvement. And so on Gus Macker, the 4th of July or Independence Day and Heritage Day celebrations, in spite of or despite of a lot of different kinds of comments one way or the other. Having attended both those events, I thought they were pretty gosh darn good and a lot of fun. I read an email, or not an email, but a social media post the other day that says, well, great, now there's nothing for the kids to do. You know, my granddaughter, I haven't been here very long. My granddaughter's 5 years old. She loves Portales. She was in the parade the other day and she calls me Granddad. She said, Granddad, I love our new house. She said, we have outdoor parks. She came from Michigan. We have indoor parks. She said, we have outdoor parks and I get to throw candy at kids. I think it's 2 kids, you know, but she loves it. So sometimes when we look at our stuff, we have it a lot better than we realize. Sometimes we're just too close to the forest to see the trees. And when a 5-year-old tells you they love it and the reasons why, you have outdoor parks and you could throw candy. And a translation there, I think, is I'm able to go outside. The weather's pretty gosh darn good. And it's a small town effect enough that a 5-year-old of no consequence, of no names, being in a regular car, it's not a special car, is in a parade and she gets to experience throwing candy in a parade and being a 5-year-old parade princess for a day. That's pretty gosh darn good. And I'll take it over some other things. So when someone writes to me and tells me on social media, there's nothing to do, I just think you're too close to the forest to see the trees. You know, I think there's plenty to do. I think there's a lot of good stuff here. So is my 5-year-old granddaughter. That's my city manager report.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Minnick. Human Resources.
Thank you. Not too much to update for human resource. Like Mr. Mitten was saying, staffing kind of goes up and goes down depending on the season. We're still staffed with myself and my assistant within the HR. We finished up the end of the fiscal year, starting on the new fiscal year, keeping up with evaluations, personnel changes in positions, day-to-day operations. So everything's going well. Nothing too big to report at this time.
Okay. Library.
This. Right now, in the last month, we saw 3,541 physical materials checked out, 537 electronic materials. The adults had 5 programs with 104 attending. Children's had 25 programs with 725 attending. And young adult had 13 programs with 101 attending. Jason, Victor, and the animals had 87 in attendance. And to brag on us just a little bit, one of our library board members came to the Andy Mason concert at the library. And then he also attended the Andy Mason concert at the Santa Fe Public Library. Santa Fe had 12 people come to the program that day, and Portales had 96 come to our concert. So Portales really showed up for us that day. We still have quite a few things going on daily through the end of the month. For the adults, there's still room to get into Coach Jay's barbecue demonstration this Thursday. There's openings at 5:30 and at 6:15. July 16th is the book tasting. It has a wait list, but if you're interested, we can put you on that. Disco Bingo still has room, and love to see you there. July 30th is Roosevelt Refreshers with Conrad Lawn doing Engaging with History through Reenactment. And then coming up in September, on September 10th at 5:30, we're looking to do a United States Living History social. So we're looking for individuals who do reenactments or do Chautauqua programs who might be interested in doing that with us. We're starting to get the process rolling on that, both for adults and kids to participate. So if you know of someone who's interested in that, please put them in our direction so that we can get them signed up. That's all I have at the moment.
Okay. And communications.
We're currently staffed 8 out of 10 people. I had one that was with us for about 3 months and she decided that dispatching was not for her. So she resigned and is currently looking for another position within the city. We have had a steady flow of applicants through HR. I think our problem is we can't get anybody to show up for an interview. They'll schedule the interview, but they don't come. So we did have about 7 interviews set up last week and 2 people showed up. I do have a possible candidate to fill one of my positions though, thankfully, so. And then our June numbers, for the month of June, we processed 1,992 calls for service. And then we took 2,950 calls into our dispatch center.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Public Works.
Okay, currently Public Works has 59 total positions. And right out of that, we have 6 vacancies, so that's good. Last time I reported, we had 10. So in those vacancies, 1 in streets, 1 in parks, 1 in water, 2 in wastewater, and 1 in billing. And the billing one is for our senior clerk, because our senior clerk, Emily Morgan, got promoted to billing supervisor. Because Catherine Rice, the old billing supervisor, is now our Public Works Administrative Services Director. So her position actually is part of billing, but also taking over the roles for some of the grants from the Water Trust Board and stuff like that within the water department. It's been a while since I've been to council, so I'm not sure what I told you last, but we do have 3 new trash trucks, all working now. We have 1 in the shop getting a total rehab on it. Once that's done, the rest of them will take its turn going in. Get a new what they call it, tractor. Backhoe. She got it right. I can't think of the word. Sorry. Got a new backhoe in the water department, and they've been using it pretty good now. They got the First Street leak fixed. Now the street department is currently waiting for it to dry out so we can go in there and fill in. And then once we fill it in, we're gonna have to concrete it. So expect those roads to be at least another 2 weeks before we can open it up to 2 lanes, just so we can let that concrete cure once it's dry. And then we do have 17th or which one? K from 17th to University is to begin construction on that section of road. They are starting off this week and next week with doing curb and sidewalk stuff like that. And then by all the ADA stuff, and then by the end of the month, they'll start removing the road to get it repaved.
Okay, Police Department.
Sergeant Loren standing in for Chief Williams. We currently have approximately 17 officers for auxiliary staff. We have 4 vacancies at this time. We did test 3 individuals, but we only had 1 of them pass the written and physical exam. So hopefully they'll be moving along in the process. We are about finished with a sergeant promotion for our 1 opening that we did have in sergeant. Other than I have no other updates.
Okay, thank you. The Fire Department.
We currently have 2 open positions. We'll be testing this Friday and Saturday for those 2 firefighter positions. We have a lot of training in the upcoming months. We have 4 attending firefighter 1 and 2, 7 driver operator, 11 to fire instructor, 3 to EMT intermediate, and 3 to EMT paramedic. We have 10 of our 11 fire apparatus in service and 5 of our 6 ambulances. In the month of June, we ran just under 300 total calls for service. 85% were EMS and 83% were inside the city limits. Average response times were 8.9 minutes for an EMS call and 9.8 for a fire. Personnel from Station 2 responded to 129 instances in that month. And we have our lieutenant promotion process tomorrow. And we're excited to share that we have 7 highly qualified candidates that will be testing, and it's going to be a long day. We're also working towards digitizing our daily apparatus checkouts, and keep watching our Facebook. There's a lot of good videos coming out. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move to counselor comments. Counselor DeWitt, did you have anything this evening?
Good.
Counselor Ortega,
Okay.
you good? Counselor Saw.
Just want to say thanks to the city trash department. They dumped the trash late Saturday. We had so many just inundated with trash from the Gus Macker tournament that I don't know the lady's name, but I gave her a wave and I gave her a thumbs up. So much appreciated. Please pat her on the back for me. And I don't know this statistics yet. I know there were several hotel rooms, and the Sands Motel was filled up. So I'll be curious. Got some software. We'll I want to share that next time, once I hear, the overall economic impact of Gus Macker, but I was excited to, be a part of it. And, great to see, city support all the goals flew down. There's tons of people out there. I should do it, early that Saturday morning to get it back up and going. So, just appreciate this community and that's all I got.
Counselor Watkins?
Just want to thank the DFA our city parks crew coming over and walking through, picking up all the trash before our July 4th celebration. And also the crew come in and got rid of some of the dead branches that were kind of hanging down and questionable, and taking care of that.
Okay, thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem Cordova. Okay. Counselor Merrick?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Counselor Woolley?
Yeah, thank you for your vote of confidence, I think. I'd like to go back to the Pats deal. My glass is always half full. If we just suspend something, it gives us a chance to make it better. And I can tell you a lot of it is not limited to 5 miles. A lot of it comes to RGH, and there's a lot more than 5 miles. So it gives us a chance to take a look, Mr. Minton, to fix all the stuff he's got to do and make it better along with the state, because the state didn't want to shut it down either. We are in a rural area. I think we can make it better. So I agree with you saying no, because I'm with the senior citizens and I see them, all them folks come out there all the time. There is a need, but we can fix it. So that's all I've got to say.
Okay. And Counselor Smith?
I got a neat, I was reached out by somebody in our community that is a business person on our downtown, and she was very excited. She took it upon herself to start looking into grants and opportunities to help beautify and update and make our businesses in the downtown area look great. She's in pursuit of that. I was asked to, or she reached out to me to see if I would come along beside her as somebody from the city, because that was required for the grant. So she is doing, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to steal her thunder, but that is, I'm just so blessed when I see people in our community that step up and do things, and because they love our community and they see the value in it. So good things coming from that. We're going to work really hard to make that become a reality. And the last thing I just want to say was, I wasn't able to attend the water conservation town hall, but I did go back and watch it. There was some really great information in there all the way across the board. I wish the whole community could have been there to hear it. I think it would have been very helpful. A lot of just practical wisdom. Some of it was shared by Mr. Minton a little bit this evening. I would love to see if there's a way to take our town hall and make some little clips just of certain things that you talked about, like how to check to see if your toilet's actually running and you don't know it because you can't hear. Well, here's what a little easy thing you can do to see if that's what's happening and causing a leak in your water rate to be higher than it should be. Just little clips, because I know just from experience, little clips are easily watched, far more watched and far more shared than if we just put out the whole town hall in 1 hour and 8 minutes. More people will share those and watch those. And I think, man, that was just so full of great information for our community. I'd really like to see us pursue how we can put that out so people can hear from it more, even more discussion on the water rates and how it affected their bills and that sort of thing. Very helpful information. I would love to see us take advantage of that. And I am more than willing to help. I don't want to say, hey, this is a great idea. Somebody else do this. If there's anything I can do to help make that a reality, I'm more than willing to help with that. So well done. It was really good. Really good.
You put food coloring in the holding tank that comes in the bowl, you gotta leave. That's what,
Okay, I have mayor's comments. I have a couple of brief comments, brief for me. And they're all about city clerks. I am so happy to have Ms. Wopes back with us. Also very appreciative of what Ms. Carrillo has done for the city, holding down the fort in your absence. That's not an easy task. So Melissa, you're very appreciated. And also to Jordan, I know that he kicked in there. We rifled around in offices and looking for stuff, and he was very helpful in making sure that the process continued. So to everyone in that department, this town is so lucky. So thank you very much. Tonight, as a part of Mayor Appreciation, I want to recognize someone that is constantly asking for money. And I mean in the very best way. I do not think most residents realize how many millions of dollars this lady has brought to this community. But I got the best glimpse of what she is made of when she failed. One of the projects failed to get funded. She didn't like that. So she inquired as to why, refined her approach, refused to give up, and wound up securing $1.2 million for the city. A few weeks ago, I received an email from Senator Martin Heinrich's office that an additional $430,000 had been awarded. A few days ago, even more grants were awarded. So I'm going to ask Joe McVeigh to meet me up front. So I don't have the microphone, so I'm just gonna holler at you. So I'm printing this for you. We very much appreciate what you do for this city. Thank you so much. Thank you, 2 of them. So you can have one at your house and one that's in your office. And I'll print you another one if you want to put one on your dash of your car. So
Does it say that I always ask for money?
yeah. We do appreciate it. I have no doubt as a child, Joe's parents didn't give her an allowance. They probably negotiated with her. So at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session pursuant to section 1015(1) H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act to discuss limited personnel matters regarding the annual review and contract of city manager Scott Mitten. Can I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Merrick, second by Counselor Self. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, the regular meeting is back in open session. Matters discussed in closed session were limited to those authorized under section 1015(1) H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. No action was taken in closed session. The chair will entertain a motion to increase the annual salary of city manager Scott Mitten to $146,400, effective with the first full pay period following approval pursuant to the annual performance evaluation and the provisions of his employment agreement. Yes, I asked for the motion, so.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Merrick, a second by Counselor Cordova to increase the annual salary of city manager Scott Mitten as stated. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Whoops, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Cordova?
Yes.
Mr. DeWitt?
Yes.
Mr. Merrick?
Yes.
Ms. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Woolley?
Yes.
Mr. South?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Unanimous, it passes.
Okay, there being no further business to come before council, this meeting is adjourned.